Hey guys, welcome to day 4. It should be Thursday, and we're almost through this introduction week. Now, for today, I was going to do a class preview just to see what we're in store for, and just so we can start thinking about what the year is going to look like. So, I did want to start with a bell ringer. We'll get into the class preview, and then at the end, we're also going to take a short civics test. I just want to see where you're at. So, I'll go over that and get into it. But my first question for the bell ringer, which you can answer in a Google form that I will have posted, is who is your favorite president? Number 2, what is your favorite part of history? And number 3, what do you predict to get in this class? So the last one's a little tough because, maybe at the end of chapter 1, I could say, what do you think you're going to get? Since you don't really know too much, about any of my grading, what the tests look like, what the projects look like. But just give me a prediction based on what you've seen in the last couple of days. What do you think you're going to get? Okay? And answer that in Google Forms. Like I said, I'll have the link posted. Other than that, I'm going to screen record my laptop so I can show you the class and give you some insight about it. All right? Alright guys, so now I'm going to give you a civics course preview. I'm going to take you through essentially what we're going to do all year. Again, you can check out the syllabus if you want to see more and more details. A lot of this is in the syllabus though. So let's start with the course description. So for this class, we're going to examine and study history, philosophy, structure, and function of U.S. government. So as always, with all the social studies classes, whether it's geography, whether it's economics, if it is civics, there still is going to be overlap with history. Because I did ask you before, with one of the bell ringer questions, like what's your favorite part of history or government and so on, because there's tons of overlap. Course goals. In general, to learn and think critically for a broader understanding of U.S. government and civics. Civics meaning citizenship. In addition to that, to improve on critical thinking, writing skills, and oral communication skills. With a lot of this stuff, such as the critical thinking part, this is going to be when we challenge some of these ideas. For instance, with the political spectrum, which one of these sides are right, which party platforms right? Can we look at the pro-cons? That's why I went over procon.org, because it has tons of awesome different arguments. So hopefully by the end I can really push you to think. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. With the writing skills and oral communication skills, this directly applies to our projects. So when we are writing essays, when we are doing PowerPoints or video, I just want to make sure that you guys are comfortable sharing your ideas, talking, and sometimes teaching, right? When you do have to create your presentation. Assessments. So classwork is 20%. This would almost always be a Google form that you have to fill out. So if I have a reading that you do that maybe takes you 15 minutes, and then I have 2 lecture videos that maybe are 10 to 20 minutes each. At the end of that, I will probably have a worksheet for you to complete that basically goes over some of the key ideas and key terms of our lesson. So that would pretty much be the classwork, and that is worth 20%. So a decent chunk, but your classwork you're going to have regularly, maybe twice a week, something like that. Quizzes, you'll probably have in the middle of each chapter. It's basically going to be maybe 1/4 of what your test will be. It'll be quick. They're never meant to be hard. I don't try to give you tests or quizzes to fail you. I try to make sure that they cover the material and it shows that you sort of paid attention at least. They're worth 10%, so not a huge chunk, and you don't have them that often though. So because you only might have 2 quizzes a marking period, each quiz is 5%. So it's not a lot, but it is a lot, if that makes sense. The next assessment is tests. They are worth 30%. Now you do get probably, again, 2 a marking period. because we'll probably be able to complete 2 chapters marking period. That's what I assume. Could go a little bit faster, could go a little bit slower. We're going to see what happens. For all my tests, we do multiple choice, we'll do fill in the blank, we'll do matching, we'll do true and false, and we'll do document-based questions, whether it's a quote or a picture or whatever it is, and say, I'll give you some context on it, and I'll say, what does this mean? You also have short answer, so you're going to have to write a couple complete sentences and try to be able to explain, let's say, some concept that we went over. So the test is not just one style. It's not like you're writing an essay for each test. It's not like you're just doing multiple choice for each test. There's a wide variety that I break it up into. Some people like that, some people don't. For the projects, whether it's an essay, PowerPoint, infographic, a web page we create, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a video, anything we create, that's 25%. These are some of the bigger projects. We typically work between maybe 1 day in class to even 5 or 6 days in class on these. So I do give you plenty of time to complete these. They may seem difficult, but remember, you can go in that student work tab and see what some other people have done. Some people go all out. I could probably name 20 to 25 students each year that, like, if you saw their products, like, they're like blockbusters. They're awesome. And then some people, they go through the motions. Unfortunately, it's definitely up to you. And like I said from the start, with all these things, you get what you put in. So if you want to be a hot shot, that's awesome. If you just want to be a warm body and do the minimal requirements, it's up to you guys. But that's 25% of your grade. And remember, we do have the rubrics, so I don't just make up grades off the top of my head. You put on a grade that you think you got based on the criteria, and then I do the same, and then we average it. Classroom participation is the next one. That's 15%. Remember, I also give you a rubric for that. Don't make up grades. Do these couple things and tell me what you think you got. I'll tell you what I think you got. There you go. Grade's done. Next one, requirements. They want us to have these for like a syllabus or a course preview whenever we meet the parents. I wasn't really sure what to say, so one of the biggest things, like for this class, and I think a lot of social studies, it's just to be respectful to students, staff, teachers, everybody, right? Especially in social studies class where we're talking about government, because if you've paid any attention to political parties now, very polarized. If you had a chance to watch the Democratic National Convention or the Republican National Convention, holy smokes, doesn't seem like we're getting along at all, and I would say that's not good for us. So when we go over different concepts, when we go over political parties, we definitely have to be respectful. We definitely have to see other sides. It doesn't mean you have to agree with the other side, and not at all. But I'm just saying we have to be understanding and respectful, okay? And then we can learn a lot. Please be ready to learn and work during class time. I'm really trying my best not to waste your time. Even if I give you an essay, it's the purpose. I'm not just trying to give you busy work. So at that same time, don't waste your time. Pick something you like, especially with the topics when we do these projects. You pick them. I might say, here's 60 different things. You pick it, but don't do something like you don't like. So come up with something, pick a topic you like, and so on. Because I don't want to waste your time either. Come to work, come to get better, and I just want you to have a good experience, and I want a class to have a good experience. I want to have a good experience. Please have all required material for class. So this more applies to the kids that are actually in the room, and they don't really have much because I'm going to have everything online. Your textbook included. I didn't give out any textbooks. I found our textbook that we use online, so I'm going to be using that. Cheating or plagiarism will not be tolerated. Last year in the spring when we did have Google Classroom, immediately I caught cheaters. I had to give them zeros. It's taken very serious. Sometimes you get kicked out of school for that, especially college. You're kicked out, maybe one warning and that's it. So if you do cheat, if you do plagiarize, if I copy and paste your sentence into Google and I find it, and like you're getting a zero and a phone call home, maybe a warning after that, like, I have to, go to administration. So please don't cheat. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but it definitely is taken as a big deal. in most other circles. So, all right. So the actual content, here are the first 3 chapters in this unit, Foundation of Government. So we start from the beginning. How did we get to where we are? How did we get to our republic? How was it laid out? Who did we mimic to create it? Because it wasn't like our founders are awesome, but it wasn't just entirely like off the top of their head, like, oh, I've got this idea. It was pulling from other, let's say, other governments that were working, other ideas and philosophies that were working, and they kind of compiled it together. That's why it's like so cool, and that it survived so much, right? We've had so much change. That is our Constitution in a nutshell. An awesome document. We'll also go over rights and responsibilities, what the differences are, and this is especially important for citizens and students and all people in our country to know the difference and to be a responsible citizen. The next 3 chapters are the branches of government. This is especially important, and this is a perfect segue from the Constitution, the legislative branch, the ones that make the laws, the executive branch, so the executive, the one in charge, he has a bunch of agencies, departments, and so on, and the judicial branch, the ones that determine what the Constitution means. All are so extremely important, and I would like to guess that most people, most adults, most students really don't know much about these roles and what they do. And I think we can, I don't have it on me right now, but it's just, I think it's from Gallup and Pew Research data, and it looks at just Americans in general, and it gives them like a basic civics test asking them about the branches, and it's pretty grim. Something like 2/3 of people like don't know most information, like basic information. Like you guys are going to get a little bit more than that. So it is concerning. So please pay attention to that. Unit 3, state and local government. This basically mimics in many ways the federal government. So once we go over the branches of government in the Constitution, a lot of this is redundant. I'm going to change up my lessons a little bit, and I already have made them better throughout the years, because kids are like, you're telling me the same thing, and then you're telling me the same thing. You know, you call it a president, we call it a governor, we call it a mayor, and so on. You know what I mean? There's a lot of overlap. There's a lot of similarities between the hierarchy of government, and that's okay, because I mean, if I go over it 3 times, you're really going to understand it. But I'll change it up, and it'll be good. I'm not worried about any of that. The last 3 chapters, probably the last 3, because we kind of moved through it a little bit slow. Electing leaders. So this is perfect. This is definitely appropriate. Fortunately or not, in November, you guys will be seeing it all. But we won't get to this probably until maybe March. So I wish I could have gave it to you earlier. I don't want to screw things up and go out of order, but you guys should be witnessing it. So hopefully that helps you figure out how we actually elect leaders. Political system, the political spectrum, party platforms, what is a conservative, what is a liberal. You have to watch out what people say about conservatives and liberals, because oftentimes they're not good, and oftentimes what they say about conservatives and what they say about liberals aren't true. Typically they point to the fringe on each end, like here's what a conservative looks like, and it's like this much of conservatives, and it's pretty much the ugliest portrayal you can find. Same thing with liberals. They'll point to the fringe and say, look at this liberal burning this down, whatever, and then they'll say that's like all of them. You have to watch out with oversimplifications. You have to watch out with stereotypes, because oftentimes it's not true. So you'll be learning about the whole political spectrum and all of it, and here's what these people believe, these people in the middle, and so on. So it should be really healthy for you guys, especially where we're at now. The last one is paying for government. How do we make all this happen, and what do we spend our money on? What is our deficit? What out of all of our debt, where did it come from? What can we do about it, and so on. So should be good. I'm not worried about it. We have a couple other chapters in your book that go over citizenship. A lot of this ties into the stuff we've already gone over. At some point I will fit all of this in, but it seems like there's a lot of overlap. Just like I said, we go over the Constitution, and Constitution chapter goes over the three branches, but not in great detail. And then you get 3 chapters on them. And then just like the federal law, or the federal government and the state and local government, there's a lot of overlap with all of these concepts. So you're sort of getting some of them in the other chapters, but not in this detail. So I still will have that online, and you still can go over this stuff on your own. And I might even say extra credit, do this one or this one, and so on. But we won't formally be going over some of this quite yet. All right, then school's out and you made it through the Google Classroom experience. Good job, that's awesome. Maybe by springtime or sometime we're back in school, who knows? But I just hope you guys enjoy it, make the most out of it, take it serious. And then for your assignment at the end of this video, I'm going to have a link. You're going to take a citizenship test, a civics practice test, and we'll see where you're at. Take it serious. Don't lie about your score. Let me know your real score, because that's going to determine how much you know. And it's okay if it's low. I kind of want it to be low, because then you're also going to take this test again at the end, and then I want it to be perfect. Then we can see how you guys have changed. Thanks, guys. Bye. Alrighty, so that's all I have for you based on the screen recording. I hope you're excited for the year. I think it should be fantastic. I'm not too worried about anything. And I also wanted to say thank you to some of my students that pointed out on the time capsule that it was only allowing me to, or only allowing you to put in numbers. So something got screwed up. When I do add the questions and I start typing in them, Google Forms automatically assumes they know what I'm talking about. For instance, when you type something, say on your cell phone, and then it auto-corrects it. Let's say you tell your friend you're going to the mall, and then it says tall or something, and it keeps auto-correcting, and you're getting frustrated. No, I'm trying to say mall, and it's auto-correcting to tall. Same thing with Google Forms. So I do apologize for that. I'm positive I'm going to run into issues at some other point. There's going to be some screw-up. But thank you for reaching out to me. I think I made the change within about 15 minutes or 20 minutes of the error. But that's because you reached out to me and I could fix it so quick. So thank you. I appreciate it. Keep looking at the stuff. All right. So last thing for you, outside of the Google Forms with the bell ringer questions, the 3 questions you had to ask, I want you to take this civics test. It is on a government website for the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. It is like a legitimate preview of a civics test. When you're done, which you'll find it in the link, right? I have the link posted. When you're done, I want you to comment on your score, okay? So don't feel like embarrassed or anything like that. I would be surprised if you did do very, very well. It doesn't count for anything besides participation, because I want to use this. I want to collect all the data. I want to say, period 1 did this on average, period 2 did this. Altogether, my class did this, and then at the end of the year, we're going to take this again. And then I want to say, hopefully, that we all get 100s or very close to that, and then we can compare scores in the periods in all my classes together. But, all right, we actually get into it. Chapter 1, tomorrow we start. So let me know if you guys need anything. Keep commenting. It's been fantastic. Thank you for participating online, and let me know if you need anything. See you guys.